Yeah, same
Good.
here.
I thought I was gonna have to go for a climb.
For a climb.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Then I
We're
walked back
still.
over
Oh,
because
we're
I
already.
thought it went over
It worked,
a certain
guys.
tree, but it was actually farther down. So when I walked down, I was able to find it.
Bill, we only have to do one stream tonight.
It worked. It actually went live right when it's supposed to. And it's 5:29 East Coast or West Coast time.
That
So
was less than two
woo!
minutes.
Yeah, wow, that's shocking. And I wanted to say hello and welcome to everyone that's here to Drone Therapy Air 3S, the last DJI drone in the United States. And I caught a lot of flack for putting up that thumbnail earlier, and I wasn't trying to make people mad, wasn't trying to offend anybody. I'm simply looking at it from a logical standpoint. Okay, I'm not trying to blow any smoke anywhere or try to create any issues. This is my personal point of view. It's not Ron's personal point of view. It's not Steve's personal point of view or Randy's personal point of view. I just thought it was a subject that, because I'm worried, I really am worried that that's going to be the last drone that we get. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's a possibility.
I think that it's the last drone that we're going to get because I think that we're about 5 years too late at getting organized. We should have been organized and gotten our shit together and started taking control of our sport and hobby with the reauthorization, the FAA Reauthorization Act of 2018, when they set down and changed the recreational rules. When they actually said that this is what recreational has to do, this is what they're allowed to do, this is what that's when I started raising hell, and that was 2018, folks. That's when Bill started raising Cain and said they're going to kick us out of the sky, and I literally got made fun of. And there was a plethora, I mean a ton of videos put out by all these other channels now that are talking about, we need to save the hobby, that all said DJI is going nowhere. Fly what you got. Be happy with what you got. DJI is going to be here forever. And now suddenly, 18 months before, since, let's go back 18 months, and now they start realizing, whoa, wait a minute, that's my livelihood. It didn't look like they were going to mess with it before. Wait a minute, now we need to do something because that's how I make my money. We got to save the hobby. And I'm like, I'm glad they're on board now, but we really needed all these people on board 3 years before that. Because I'm not lying. I'm not trying to push down the hobby. I'm not trying to bring down the hobby. I'm just trying to tell you what I see logically in the future. And you heard Randy saying, yep, it actually makes sense. Because everybody said it was going to go away when they got rid of it the first time. And I said, wait. They got to reconcile. And then what happened? It came right back. So that's why I said that I fear that that's going to be the last drone we get. But I think it's going to be a fantastic drone. And according to their rule, they can keep sending us Air 3Ss until hell freezes over. Right?
And keep shooting firmware updates out to improve it.
Exactly. They could even put it, they could even do, they might find some way to put in a new OcuSync and update it that way. Who knows? Because
Yeah, like an OcuSync that's updatable by firmware rather than hardware.
yes, exactly. I mean, so there's no telling what they'll figure out or what they'll do. So, like I said, I wasn't trying to stir up anything. I'm just being logical. I hope to God that I'm proven wrong. And if you'll look in the description of this show, it says very plainly for you to continue contacting your congressperson and let them know you do not want them to ban Chinese drones. I'm simply saying I think that we've gotten organized way too damn late. That we're trying to put the cart before the horse now when we should have been out front, like I said, 3.5 years ago when the Reauthorization Act of 2018 came out. That's when we should have started raising hell and saying, whoa, back up. Don't you start trying to tell us, because that's when because the only person that I know of that really started was sniffing it out was Herman, Phantom Flight 101. That he was trying to say, well, this doesn't look right. This doesn't smell right. There's something going on here. Okay, so I don't want to continue bringing down the subject. I want to bring it down.
No, before you move too far on that, I just want to maybe compare it to something. Okay, TikTok.
Yeah.
It's kind of fighting the same battle as DJI. Okay, is TikTok still on schedule to be shut down at the end of this year in the U.S.? Or
Yep.
because I know they've taken TikTok's fighting in court.
But
Has that
how much money does ByteDance have compared to DJI?
Yeah, no idea.
I would probably say ByteDance is probably 100 to 1 DJI's money.
Okay.
Because we're talking, I mean, ByteDance has got 3 or 4 different softwares that they run besides whatever they make for other countries, let's say.
Yeah.
So I think it's ByteDance. I'm not 100% sure. Like you said, it could take a while. I mean, look what they're going through right now. They're trying to keep us open till the end of the year. I'm just afraid because of the way they've shuffled this into that Defense Authorization Act. If we could just pry the damn thing out of there and make them run it on its own, no, I don't think it would ever get through. But where it keeps riding on this damn Defense Authorization Act, that's what I'm worried about. And eventually, the president's going to have to sign that thing. And if it's in there, we're screwed. It doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to be logical. We know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I think DJI has to wait until it's actually signed before they can take some legal action against it. So
Exactly.
I'm guessing the day after it's signed, a legal suit goes to federal court someplace. I don't know if that'll stall the process down once that happens.
Yeah, will it? I don't know for sure. I hope to God it does. And I mean, I hope that we get more drones than that. But let's go ahead and let me throw this out here. Let me say hi to some people real quick. Jody, Drone Shots was in really, really early. Mark R. White, glad to have you. And Steve and Drones, good to see you in the house as well. Johnny Drone Flyer, thank you, sir, for coming in. This is 9 minutes ago, so I'm way, way behind.
Happy birthday, Johnny Drone Flyer.
Happy birthday, Johnny Drone Flyer. Thank you very much. Flying Flynn Media, John, good to see you. Zach, Big Orange Drone Flyer, Zach, good to see you. Randy telling everybody good evening. And Herman, did you hear me talking about 2 minutes ago?
His ears are burning.
Waypoint, New England. It was all good, though. We live in, see the Mavic 5. Oh, hey, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to be negative, but just like you heard Randy say, yes, and Ron say, yes, it's a distinct possibility. Because, look, it's kind of, over the last 3.5 years, they keep throwing us at it, right? And it kept coming back, right? And then everybody was saying, no, they'll never get rid of DJI. They'll never get rid of DJI. And how many of those videos did you watch? I mean, how many of those channels? And how many of those channels?
Not long ago, Bill, I was still watching them.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. They were all telling us that we were wrong, that DJI wasn't going anywhere, right?
It was all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows.
That's
Bill.
what I'm trying to say. And the whole point was they were gaining views and getting all these solid views and everything was hunky dory. I get all that, and now, but the whole point is let's jump forward, and we're here at about ready to have an authorization act that kicks the drones out of the country, and suddenly everybody wants to band together now at the last minute when the fire's been burning for a few years, and there's a lot of different people been trying to say something about it and bring attention to it. But these bigger channels that everybody that was going to watch kept making videos saying DJI is going nowhere. So we should have been organized then, is all I'm saying. Like I said, I hope I'm completely proved wrong, and I'm, made, because I've stuck my foot in my mouth plenty of times on this show. And like I said, this is my opinion. It's not Randy's opinion. It's not Ron's opinion or Steve's opinion. It's just something that I'm seeing logically in our future. And I'm afraid that because we know this drone's approved, and according to the updated bill, everything up to that point is okay.
The FCC filings,
and just as you saw Bill the drone reviewer point out on his show just last night? I think it was. That he was talking about agricultural drones are now under attack to be thrown out of the country.
Yeah.
So we're talking sooner or later about not having any Chinese-built drones in the sky. So they've already got a foothold, and now this is a rider in a defense act. Before, it was just a little crumb thrown out here and there, and it was on insignificant bills that never really had any chance of passing in the first place. But now, we're talking about something that has to get passed each year, the defense budget, and how it gets paid for. So, we're pretty sure that at some point in time that's going to pass, right?
Yeah, I don't think that there's never been any year where a defense budget hasn't been improved eventually.
So unless we can shoehorn that thing out of there, And that's what I'm saying.
Well, I-
Go ahead. I'm
I thought
sorry.
I
Randy, go.
heard that it wasn't tied to the defense bill anymore. It was a
Somebody said
standalone.
that on a show the other night, but I haven't read that. Randy, you do you have a link to that?
If anybody has some information about
Excel
that,
set or something, or
yeah, if anybody has
that's just what I
information,
heard.
throw it up.
So it's not gonna if it passes, it won't ban any current drones that are in the country,
Correct.
and chances are the Air 3S will get in there as well.
correct?
So you're good for a couple years, right?
Well,
I would
we're
think
trying.
so.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. We're
Push
figuring.
it down the road, you're fine.
That's yeah, exactly. Push it down the road.
Yeah.
Push
Yeah,
it-
no.
2 years.
Steve makes an excellent point, Bill. Anybody that's making money with drones now, whether they're in real estate, whether in mapping or whatever, the current drones that DJI that they have now from DJI, they'll be fine for years and years out or whatever. The
Probably.
the requirements for real estate photos and mapping and stuff like that, the spec requirements won't go above what they're already doing now. So the people that are making money are still going to be making money for years in the future. And of course, even if they crash their drones, they'll be able to rebuy any drone that's already on the
Already
market
here,
now
yep.
too. So
Yep.
from a technology standpoint, we probably are good for anywhere from 2 to 5 years before our current drones will be outdated and won't be able to do the work that's required.
I
Just
don't.
look at the Air 2S. The Air 2S is almost 4 years old, and there's still people using that.
All the map because it takes all that mapping
There's-
software.
People that
Yep.
still use Phantom 4 Pros.
Yes. Yeah,
Perfect-
Not they
perfect
still do. A
example.
lot of people do, Bill, in making money. Yeah,
It's a phenomenal drone. I wish I'd never gotten rid of it. Spark right there.
yeah, Sparky.
Anyway, so
Somebody's still probably out there taking some real estate photos with his Spark.
Oh, I bet
so
you.
let me. I missed a bunch of people.
Did you get Paul Murray?
Oh my God! Look at Koopy. Yeah, exactly. It's like I was screaming, and John tried to lighten the mood because I was like, I would always be like talking impending doom, and John's like, man, you're getting really dark. You're gonna make people leave.
I think
No,
Marcus was
when
one
you
of-
when you talk, they should have played a little Darth Vader type music in the background.
Yeah, or some kind of like really dramatic talk, dark stuff and everything.
I think Marcus was on to something last night when he was saying about how they maybe some people in the government just want drones out of the sky, period. I was reading an article yesterday, said that there was like 20 some incursions in the firefighting areas in the country
Yeah.
Yeah.
that prohibited resources from being used. So
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely becoming more prevalent.
Well, that's definitely one theory out there.
Well,
That's a good point, Randy.
There's
Yeah.
no denying that's horrible.
The more you got, there's going to be more irresponsible people, right? Kind of
Absolutely.
goes with the flow.
Let me see. In Covaction, I want to holler out some more people. Johnny Drone Flyer.
Let
think
me go
we'll
back
face-
to Randy real fast, but I don't know. When I was growing up on Oxford, how many people like just followed fire trucks around the fires or whatever when they weren't supposed to do that?
A lot
Yeah.
of people.
And they never banned cars, right?
Oh, yeah.
Chuck says, we're not negative, we're positive. We're positive they want us out of the sky and out of their way. Gotta make way for them Jetsons mobiles. Paul Murray, good to see you, sir. Glad to have you in the house. And Paul Murray's the Neo man. Didn't Paul Murray's importing Neos? Wasn't that what it was? Didn't they say
Paul
that was
Neo?
Paul? Wasn't it? Didn't you say, Randy, that was Paul?
What was that?
The Neos. It was importing the Neos. That was
Yeah.
driving across and bringing them back.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what I should have been doing?
Yeah, you could have made
I
a
paid for my
bundle,
meal.
man.
Oh,
Because
man.
all them
Everybody
people,
was
all
saying.
them people wouldn't have canceled their orders.
Bootlegging's back.
Bootlegging back.
He could have charged a 20% upcharge. I guarantee you there's people in the
Yeah.
country that would have bought them.
Wow.
Oh yeah, for sure. You could have sold a bunch of them. Okay. So, but
You probably
anyway,
get a couple burner phones, and you know what I mean.
like
like
I-
a real gangster.
and
dude.
on a positive note, like the guys have been pointing out, the Air 3S looks to be a phenomenal drone. Like he said, we may have a drone so advanced that it may be 4, 5 years, 6 years down the road till something really touches it.
Before the American
I
companies
am
catch up.
assuming. I'm assuming. I'll be honest with you. I'm assuming that we're about at what OcuSync's range should be. I think what they need to work on now is improving the signal quality and maybe getting a 4K feed from one end to the other. That would be
Battery
really
life.
cool. Okay, battery life. But I'm just trying to think. I know a lot of people are saying, I want OcuSync 5. And I'm like, you want to go 12 miles away? Why?
When
Well,
your
right
battery
now-
may not allow you to get back.
Pretty
again.
damn sure you can't see it 12 miles
Well,
away.
since '04 came out, you're really limited to the life of your battery because I mean it'll go and go and go, and you got to come back for the battery before you lose signal.
And Bill, it is getting easy. It is getting easier to get beyond the visual line of sight waivers now.
True, but you have to have a 107.
Correct.
So that's what I'm saying. And like I said, when I started screaming about them throwing us out of the sky, was the Reauthorization Act when they really came down and told what the recreational rules were. Because at that point, we were very similar to 107 pilots on what we could and couldn't do. We just couldn't make money. But then when we had the Reauthorization Act of 2018, it set down the rules as to what recreational couldn't do, what the requirements were, all that stuff. And it kind of went... And that's when I said, whoa, this don't smell right. So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not, and all these other people got shitloads of views. Oh, I shouldn't have cussed. But it was not the ultimate.
You got demonetized
it
already.
was not the ultimate cuss word. But, and I know I'm not a small channel. But I'm willing to say, look, this is what I'm seeing obviously in front of me when they're, and I hope that Randy's right. They said they separated it somehow because I don't see that it'll ever pass if they separate it. If it's just a singular bill by itself, I don't see it getting enough. But if it's still within the Defense Act, which is what they said, what all the reports are, is that it's still within the Defense Act, then I'm worried. But good news is, let me get this. I want to share this with everybody.
Good news.
The good news is we have money. We have a price tag. We have a thought of, we got price leaks now. Oh, okay, it's that time. So,
16.
That's probably Jasper calling in.
It's Angel probably calling and telling me, hey, I'll be there in a minute. Okay, there we go. You can see it right there. Air 3S. That is the price leak. The price leak for the Air 3S Fly More combo, and it computes out to, I wrote this down, it's 1,200 euros basically, which comes out to $1,333 US roughly, which I'm figuring are going to make it $1299.99.
That's with the N3 controller.
Yeah, with the Bobo controller.
I wonder if that, since it's 04, it should be compatible with the RC2, right?
Right, it should be. Yep,
And we already know it's compatible with the RC3.
Right.
We've seen that in leaks.
That's 1,700 Canadian. Not
No,
buying that one.
that's for the Fly More. So what do we figure? You take what, 600 off of that, or 300? How much off from the Fly More?
It's going to be like the non-Fly More was $10.99 for the Air 3.
Okay, 10. So yeah, but okay, Sparky, I get it. Yeah, good boy.
No, it's still like close to $1,400 Canadian.
So still,
of course, eventually, not on day one, Steve, but eventually they'll sell this drone as a drone only. So if you already have a compatible controller with it, you'll be able to pick it up for, of course, much less than that.
Hey, that's one thing. Okay, go
You're
ahead,
gonna want
Steve.
extra batteries though, and they're pricey. Pricey.
Yes.
Let's see.
I mean, they're pricey, but they get you almost 50 minutes of flight time, though.
There is that. Yeah, absolutely. I wish they would bundle like batteries, the charging hub, and the drone only, and like a discounted price on the batteries and stuff.
Right.
No controller.
Well, I remember I did say that I thought they were going to sell the drone alone right off the bat, and I was right on that.
For the Neo.
Yes. What's up, Gary?
And did you see, Bill? Did you get the email from DJI? Was it today or yesterday about promoting the fact that they have the Avata 2 drone only available now in stock?
I saw that.
No, I don't know. Wait a minute. Let me pull this.
I thought it's been.
The email
I
came in either yesterday or the day before, either today or yesterday.
I'm pretty sure it was available a few weeks back.
Yeah, it was, but I'm saying DJI is actually advertising that fact now.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
they're putting it out there. They're trying to they want people to buy it now. When it was available a couple weeks ago, the only people that got the email was if you requested the email for it.
See
But
this?
Right.
now they just
That's
shot
another.
this email out yesterday to everybody, whether
Well,
you
since the Neo came out, they're saying, "Hey, don't forget about me."
yeah, and they really want you to buy that Avata rather than Neo, anyways.
Well, so
That's
what you're trying
true.
to say is there's no more Avadas left? I don't understand. So is that
No,
what
no,
you're?
Bill. If you would like to purchase an Avata 2 drone only, because now you can fly the
Oh,
Avata
okay,
2
yeah,
with your
yeah,
older Integra goggles
right, right.
and the older gear, the goggles and controllers. So now you can just go out and pay. I'm making a number up here. $5.99. I don't know if that's the right
It's like
number.
Yeah, I get
480
it.
something.
$5.99. Get the Avata 2, and you already have all the other gear.
Cool. You see what Bob's saying here? He said, "I'm so satisfied with the Air 3. If they improve on that, I'm going to go buy it."
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Bob. It's going
Well,
to take
see, the
a
thing
whole lot to make that a worthwhile
that's
upgrade.
exactly why I didn't buy the Air 3. I even said, I told you, I was like, nope, they're going to make an S, man. And I even got made fun of then, too, man. They're like, no, they're not going to make an S. Forget it. They're not going to make an S.
But
And I was like,
but
I'm
but
going to
yeah,
wait.
if it does come in October, you had to wait 13 months.
Well, the whole point was like you said, it was what? It was almost 12 months to the day when they did it the last time. Or no, it was like 11 months and 20 days, wasn't it, Ron? Because people
I
were,
think the Air 3 came out in August of 2023.
remember what happened with the Air 2 and the Air
Oh yeah,
2S?
that was less than a year. Yeah, you're right,
Yeah,
Bill.
and people were taking the Air 2s back and trading them in and getting the Air 2S.
Johnny Droneflyer bought his Air 2 the day before the Air 2S came out.
But there were people still though that had the Best Buy. Remember, you could do 12 months and still take it back.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then they changed everything after that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
people were taking it back, getting their money back, and then getting the Air 2S.
Hmm.
But I got lucky. I sold my Air 2 in the parking lot the day before, like Ron was talking about, the day before the Air 2S came out. And the guy was like, because back then Ron, it was like me and Ron and Marcus, and there might have been 4 or 5 really drone nerds that really kind of kept up with all the rumors. So people didn't really know. So, but now there's so many everybody knows where to follow the leakers.
Right, right.
So, but it took a while to figure that part of it out. But yeah, that was kind of cool back in the day when we were like,
Yeah, and the Air 2S was a revolution. That was one of the best drones DJI had ever put out at that point.
well, we've all said that we didn't think that we thought that it was a full blown upgrade. It was not. It was on a refresh.
It should have
Like they
been the
tried to.
3, right,
Yeah,
right.
that's what we were saying.
Yeah. I guess only because it shared batteries and the body was somewhat the same. That's probably why they went with the S.
And the thing about it is we still don't know if it's going to be one 1-inch sensor or two 1-inch sensors, but it's probably going to be the 1 inch and in the what is it, the 70, or is it the
Yeah,
third? What is this?
well, we'll call it the 3X Tele. It'll be the 1/1/3
Yep.
Seventy,
That's
right?
right.
that it currently is now.
Yeah, like but it'd be updated. So the like as
They'll say all new, yeah, all new sensor, but even though it's the same exact size, it's all new.
well,
Yep.
if you're talking about the hardware being updated, what's processing it, how it's producing the image, if it's quicker, faster, more efficient, creates a richer, better image, then you are improving it, right?
Yeah, Bill, you make an excellent point. The Air 3 kind of showed the whole community. Don't worry about the specs. Just worry about how good the footage looks. I
Hmm.
mean, throw out
Yeah.
throw out all sensor size and all that. The Air 3 footage looks phenomenal, no matter what the specs say.
Yeah, and I
Randy, do
won't.
you disagree with anything I just said there?
No, I agree, 100%. If you go by the camera sensor, you wouldn't think it had as good a picture as what it does.
Yeah, I've never been disappointed in the Air 3 footage. Low light, a lot of light, whatever,
Yeah,
Angel,
it's
wherever you're
definitely
at, be
excellent.
safe, buddy. He's stuck in traffic on I-5.
What Angel
So,
always says about that i5, he said it could take me a half hour or 3 hours.
dude, this morning going basically, let's say 6 miles from my house to 2 exits down on the highway took me 24 minutes. 7 miles took me 24 minutes.
Wow.
on the highway, the interstate. If they
Gary says they
updated,
updated the VOD too. Some things the Neo does would be the perfect drone, not AI stuff, but quick shots or whatever. Well, Gary, they probably will, but it won't be available for the U.S. Hey, I want to. Did you reach out to Gary? Is he okay? North Carolina, Southern North Carolina had terrible flooding just a couple days ago, and he's because in fact the bad weather's here in New Jersey, and we're not getting
yeah,
all the
man,
rain. But
Ron,
North Carolina had like a weather disaster.
he's in a boat right now, and he's on Wi-Fi.
Oh,
I don't know, Gary. How's the
you
weather?
got high water pants on.
How's the weather down there, buddy? Let's see. How are we doing here? He'll holler at us and let us know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, but like you said, I really and truthfully, and see, that's another thing. People are bashing on the Neo's camera. Well, here's a man we got a man right here.
Let's get the man to your right or left. I don't know how you'd say here backwards on TV. Steve, I've seen, I think I've seen all your videos on the Neo so far, the unboxing and the one where it's just video of it falling over the place. To me, the footage looks good to me. I mean, I'm not like pixel picking it on my 70-inch HDR TV, but it looks darn good to me.
Pixel picking.
You can't really tell until you're looking at it on your own computer.
I love that pixel picking.
Steve, what's your opinion of it?
Yeah, I mean it's okay. It's decent. Like if you own anything past a Mini 2, I don't think it holds up to like even a Mini 2. But that you got to take that with a grain of salt, right? Like the Mini 2 actually shot really good stuff.
And if it had enough light.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, Ron. Like in good light, the Neo produces, I'd say, good results. If you want to pixel peep it, you're always going to be disappointed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like guaranteed.
We already said that it wasn't going to be good in low light, right?
But
we said that.
You gotta take it for what it is. Its price point, who it's targeted to, and it's great. It's fun to fly. I can get it out of my pack and up in the air and take a quick shot in 2 seconds in the back of my pack, and I keep going, right?
And without looking like you got a controller in your hand.
Maybe, sorry?
Without looking like you had a controller in your hand.
Yeah, and the low light stuff, yeah, the video quality drops dramatically in low light. You can see some of that in the video I had, like when the trees and stuff, and it was kind of overcast, and you get the shade, and yeah, it kind of drops off pretty quickly. I did go for some night shots, and like, forget it, like, nope, not good at all. But I mean, I kind of expected that. I mean, it's got no lights on the drone either, so you really don't want to be flying that thing at night.
Right.
But honestly, I kind of like it. It's hard to know where DJI is going to go with this, right? But version 2 of this is probably the one you're going to really want.
Can you see me waving?
Camera, yeah.
I'm sure they'll boost the camera and stuff like that. I mean, maybe the Neo's a bit of spaghetti against the wall. See what sticks. See if the market likes it. If the market likes it, well, let's put some more effort into it. Come up with a pro version. Who knows? But anyhow, no, I think I like it. I don't think it's too bad at all.
Steve, you were kind of saying in a video about the Spark 2, whatever, and I put in a comment the Tello 2. What do you think it is more? Do you think it's more Spark 2 or more Tello 2?
Well, it's kind of funny because like I had completely forgotten about the Tello, even though I did a kind of a goofy video on it.
And I kind of missed that because the Spark was I don't know, $699, and the Tello was like $999. So it's definitely more of the Tello's price bucket than the Sparks.
The Tello was $100, really.
Yeah, I mean, you just bought the drone and a battery, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly that one kind of came in and out of my radar so quickly I don't even remember it. So I still fly my Spark. I love my Spark. It was my first drone. So obviously my association was to the Spark in comparing it. Oh, there it is right there. Yeah.
And if you bought the $99 pack, you got battery and no controller.
Okay.
Because you could fly with your phone like the Neo. Steve, have you flown the Neo with your phone? What kind of experience is that?
I haven't flown it with my phone. I've done two things with it. I basically just done everything sort of like palm control,
Right.
do all the follow stuff. So my phone is with me, but I'm not using my phone to fly it. And I've flown it with my RC2.
Remember that one?
Right.
I don't even know what that guy is. The Iron Man
That's a
edition?
The Iron
Tello.
Man
It's
edition.
yeah. It's like the updated version of the Tello. It came out like what was it? Like a year after the Tello, and I
Yeah.
don't know, but
That's
it
the
was really
candy
cool.
apple Tello.
It's kind of made up like Tony Stark's armor, Iron
Yeah,
Man's armor.
like Iron Man.
Came out at the height of the
Okay.
Marvel movies.
Yep. All right, go back to it. I'm sorry.
So,
So,
you've mostly used it as a palm launch drone or whatever. You're right.
yeah, like if you, I mean, in the video, I show a lot of follow footage, and that's me. Like I'm going out for a bike ride. It's in my backpack, my hydration pack. I pull it out, palm control launch it, send it into follow mode, and I just go. And then, a few minutes later, I just get it to land on my hand, put it back in my pack, take another shot down the road, kind of thing. And
And
it's,
your wife even seems to enjoy it.
yeah, she thought it was pretty impressive, and it takes no effort. It's simple. You don't have to know anything really to get it to do something for you, do something useful, and get a good shot, right?
Right.
And I like that. From from my very first drone with the Spark. I mean, there were Spark was my first drone, and that had largely to do with its size, its portability, because I wanted to take it with me everywhere.
Right.
I'm not going to strap a Phantom 4 on my back or something like that, right? Didn't make any sense. But Spark, same thing. I could put it in my pack, go my hikes, bike rides, get my shots. I'm happy. And Neo kind of takes it up another notch because I don't even need a controller half the time, right? If I don't want one. And I do like the FPV style, and you've got the good protection for the props and stuff. Like this thing, it's hit a lot of trees, it's hit some grass, hit some stuff, and it kind of just keeps going. Like I've taken out so many propellers with my other drones, running into stuff. Like, so yeah, I mean, I like that. I don't worry about this one as much when it's behind me or doing something sort of autonomously, right? Like where my other ones, like that's a lot more money to lose if something goes sideways on you, right?
And this drone is even safe to fly around people with those extra prop guards on top.
Yeah, you'd have to be trying to get your finger caught on a prop
I
or
saw
something.
somebody trying to put their finger through and it wasn't easy.
Yeah, it's tough to get in there. Um, yeah, and it's so light, like 137 grams or something. It's
You don't even notice it in your backpack.
well, there's that, and if it hits you or clips something, it's not really going to do any damage, right? It doesn't carry a lot of mass, right?
Right.
So yeah, I think it's really interesting. It's like I don't know where they're going with this. They're just trying to capture more market and take some market away from the hover guys or whatever. But it's for a 1.0. I think it's pretty good.
I mean, we were joking already about the next version, but do you think this will be a one and done like the Spark and the Tello, or do you think there actually will
No,
be a Neo 2?
I think so. It's like I said a little bit earlier. Is this DJI's way of testing the market? Is there a big market? Is there a consumer demand for something like this? They put in minimal engineering muscle, get something off the ground, and like, okay, it resonates with the consumer. Let's come out with a pro version. Let's come out with version 2, right? And if it doesn't, maybe they just park it like they did with the Spark, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought the Spark would have sold a lot. It seemed like a pretty
Well,
popular
I think it did, but I think that the mini one was the kind of Spark replacement or whatever. They just kind of took everything that was good by the Spark and put it in a mini drone, and moved on
Yeah,
from there.
but the original mini at the time, I thought like DJI had the know-how, they had the engineering muscle. I felt like they could have done a better job of that first mini. Like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
good. I liked it.
Well,
I
I think
really
that shaving the weight down was probably the big thing for them at that point to get it under
Yeah,
250 grams.
yeah, I guess so. I mean,
And the motors were weak.
well,
Yeah,
but they fixed that with the SE pretty quickly, right?
the two's
Um,
really good in the wind. Yeah,
Yeah, the twos was great. It's a great little mini drone.
yeah,
but
yeah.
but it just got me wondering, especially with the Neo, is this how they test their market? That 1.0 and something a new segment, and they
I
kind
don't
of
have any TJs.
see how it's going to go before they really
He
dive
just
into
got
it.
them.
Steve, of course, I've seen a lot of drone channels, with the Neo already. But do you think any have you seen any just channels that are vlogging channels, people that don't necessarily do drone reviews, but maybe they use some drone shots in their vlogs? I mean, I wonder if vloggers are actually buying as vloggers that aren't drone channels.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I haven't come across anything. I've been kind of head down busy just trying to,
Yeah,
learn about this and get it all tested out and get a review going. But yeah, it is interesting. I mean, they certainly did. They added that feature with the mic, and they do
yes,
mention it, so they're kind of pushing that, and I could see it being kind of a cool thing. You can get basically it's a flying camera, right?
yeah,
So now you can have this camera that you can position anywhere you want. You can get some really cool, interesting shots, right? And
yeah.
that it can follow you as well. Especially for a vlogger. Otherwise you got to have somebody moving your camera for you.
Hmm.
It's
You're a little bit
to
more.
me to me it's a beater drone. It's
It's a what?
something. It's a beater drone. It's something that will get you, like you said, decent quality footage. And if it gets beat up or trashed and quits working, it's not so expensive that you're going to be like,
A burner
yeah,
drone.
yeah,
A burner drone.
Yeah,
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
like beater cars are a big thing in the U.S. Not a beater car would be a car
Beater
that's supposed
quads
A and
too.
B. It wasn't a very nice car. It was,
Well,
but you didn't really care if it got beat up a little bit because it was already beater.
but I think
Everybody's
I
had a
think
good beater, right, Randy?
Yeah,
I
many.
think too, it's like not everybody is like super passionate about drones, right? On this channel, watching
Yeah,
this, absolutely, for sure. Like we
yeah,
like it, we like all the business with it and stuff like that. But there's probably a whole segment of the market, who just want a cool shot,
right,
right?
right,
And
exactly. You could be a
this is
vlogger. You
getting
can make
that cool
10-minute vlogs,
shot.
but you only want 30 seconds of drone video in it. Uh-oh, poor Steve froze on that
Oh, am I back?
Yes, you're back. I can hear
quarterback.
you. I can hear you anyway.
Okay, so go ahead, Ron. I didn't catch what you
I
said
was
there.
saying, you could be a vlogger and maybe you make 10-minute vlogs and you only want like 25 seconds of drone video in it. Just a clip here and there. And this drone, and you don't want to spend a lot of money. $199, you could, probably afford that in your budget to get you the 3 or 4 shots you need per video, which may be 25 seconds total, and this would be perfect for something
Yeah, for
like that.
sure.
Yeah.
And like if you just need that quick shot, are you gonna pull out your Air 3 and unfold it and throw on the ND filter and sync everything up and get it in the air and adjust your settings and do all that crap? No. You're
Right.
gonna hold out your hand, launch your drone, get your cool shot, put it back in your bag, move on to the next thing, right? And
Yes.
that's what this thing is for. It's perfect. And for the people who want that, bang on. It's gonna give them everything they want, right? So,
Steve, how do you like the built-in memory on the Neo, and how
well,
easy it is to get the footage off the Neo onto your whatever device you're editing with?
yeah, easy peasy, right? Um, no fuss, no muss. Like I'm kind of old school, so on my normal drones, I always pop out the SD card, put it in my computer, copy it across. Da, da,
Yeah,
da, da, da.
same
I
way.
like to do it, but then you plug it in. You don't even have to have battery in it or anything. You just plug it into your computer. It'll match like any portable storage device. Drag the files across, good to go, right? Easy peasy. 22 gig though, I think is a little shy. At first, I thought, yeah, that's decent. And I don't know, I was shooting the other day, and I'm like, oh, I filled it up because I forgot to format it, and then I had to quick transfer my phone, and transfer is not very quick,
Yeah.
especially when you're in a hurry and you're, chewing up battery life trying to move that stuff over. So I like it. Actually, I like the built-in storage, but probably should have been closer to 64 gig or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Makes
I
But
mean, the room the
that's in my
rumor for
opinion.
the yeah. The
I
rumor
shoot a
for the
lot.
DJI Action 5 tomorrow, I think, is 47 gig internal memory.
internal.
Internal. That's the rumor for the
Wow.
for the Action 5 tomorrow.
47 gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting closer. You're getting warmer.
But for an
I
action
I
camera,
think
man, that
I
might be
think the
nothing.
mistake DJI makes is they assume we're still shooting a lot of 1080p. So probably that 22 gig, if you were shooting 1080p, would probably be enough. But they don't realize that we're shooting almost exclusively 4K now.
Yep,
What's the
that's a good point.
breakdown? What's will it shoot? Will the Neo shoot 1080p or just
Yeah,
4K?
I think correct me if I'm wrong,
1080p.
Steve, it'll do 1080p 60, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is a rich picture, man. A lot of people can't get much, on a mobile phone. That's not going to be that bad.
That's all
Yeah,
you need.
I haven't, I did shoot some 1080p 60, but I haven't actually looked at it or played with it. And pretty much everything I shot was 4K 30. Um, I did, bitrate was one thing I kind of noticed was a little low. I think they said, I don't know, 75
50.
megabits per second or
I thought it
something.
was 50.
50. Well,
That's
that's
what
what I'm
Mad's
seeing.
text said, 50.
I'm seeing 50, but I thought on their specs they said up to 75. I could be crazy.
Yeah,
I
that
think you're
battery
probably
life's
right.
18 minutes too.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
well, that that's a good point because yeah, it's mm, in my testing, it's not even been in that ballpark at all.
We heard
I
what,
thought
10 to 12?
yeah, it's kind of feeling like that. I haven't pulled the stopwatch out and checked it specifically, but it's not great. Kind of starting to feel like the Spark days. Swapping, that's why I had
Yeah.
6 batteries for my Spark because it was just never enough airtime.
Well, I think that's why Bill, the drone reviewer, canceled. He said he wouldn't name whose video it was, but he said somebody took their Neo out, and he said you had, what was it? You had 5 minutes out or
Yeah,
10
5
minutes?
minutes to go out and 5 minutes to come back, and only 1 minute to shoot video.
Yeah.
Well, but you know what? But I don't think it's not meant for that. It's kind of ridiculous because in the specs they say with I don't know, it's got OcuSync 4, it can go 7 kilometers away. Well, if you're flying this tiny 137 gram drone 7 kilometers away, you're not getting it back. Even a gust of wind at the wrong time is going to push this thing, into the oblivion.
Right.
So like that's not what it's meant for. It's even ridiculous for them to suggest you to be doing that. Like this thing is meant to pull it out of your pocket, launch it up, get your shot, put it back in your pocket, go home, or
Yeah.
go on to the next place to get your next shot. You're not
Exactly,
going to send
yeah.
this thing out kilometers away. I think it's risky, to be honest.
Right.
Like
If that's what you
I
want
had
to do,
enough.
you buy a DJI Mini.
Sorry.
If that's what your intention is to fly something far away, you get a DJI Mini instead.
Absolutely.
Right.
Something that's got the power and a little bit more weight. It can handle the wind better.
Battery life.
I had this up a couple times. I had it up once at night, dropped into ADI mode a couple times on me, and this thing just
Yeah, I don't think you should be
drifted
flying
away.
the Neo
And
more than
even a
like
little bit of
100 yards away.
yeah, and even a little breeze at night, and this thing was, or in the day, and it's getting pushed. It's having to work pretty hard to stay in place. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's practical to be pushing it far away, and it's so tiny, man. Like visual line of sight, forget about it. Like this thing's, a few hundred yards away, you can't see it anymore. So yeah, I don't really. It's funny that they market it that way because I don't feel like that's intent drone or practical for this drone.
I agree.
Well, we were all saying that because when we looked at it to begin with, we were all speculating about 10 to 12 minutes of actual flight time. We knew that people were going to, because we knew that it was a half-inch sensor, so we knew people were going to be griping about the image. We knew that people were going to be upset because the small sensor was going to be rough and low light. We talked about all this before the drone even came out. But like you said, it's not meant for that. It's, for lack of a better way to put it, it's a gateway drone.
It's like a portable tripod.
Yeah,
That's
I think
that's the way I look at it.
That's
Like
a
if you
good
want to
analogy,
walk,
Randy. I think that's
if you want
good.
to walk and talk to it,
Yeah. You've got a flying camera,
right?
right? Um,
It's your cameraman.
What
yeah.
I'm curious about is how well could it navigate the internal, like inside a house? Because people are saying, "Oh, it doesn't work for real estate." I don't,
You can fly it in the house. I mean, houses are going to be low light, so you're not
Yeah,
going to get
yeah.
good
How
visual.
how much light are you going to have in these houses?
Well,
Yeah,
most of
you're
your
gonna-
houses that you're doing for like real estate are fairly well lit in each room because they're trying to get you to pick up every
Yeah.
aspect of the.
You got to
Yeah.
turn on every light, maybe add some extra light.
Yeah.
I don't think personally anybody that's doing real estate for a living is going to be using the Neo.
That's a good point too. Very good point.
But I think the thing is, really, some people think they're going to get into flying indoor real estate video. They think they're going to start cheap with the Neo.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
Yeah, you know what? With enough light, it'll look fine.
Line.
You're not going to sell $1 million homes with your Neo,
Right.
but hey man, like There's different levels here, right?
I love this.
How does the video
Hello, Pro.
quality come across compared to some of the other drones we have currently? If you were to do apples and orange comparison, nowhere.
Well, I think it kind of lands somewhere between a original Mini and a Mini 2. Like I haven't done
Okay.
super extensive testing with it, but like I was saying earlier, it's good in good light. It falls apart really quickly in low light. You know, and you can pixel peep anything and crab about everything. $5,000 cameras, right? $4,000 lenses, no problem, right? It's really I always think about, you know, if your stuff is so disinteresting that people are pixel peeping it, well, maybe you need to bring your level up, right?
Well,
And
we've
know,
bought
it's
some.
like
All of us have bought some really off the wall, cheap
you
other Chinese built drones for $200 that this blows out of the water. So,
Right.
like you can't compare a $200 drone with a $1,000 drone. They are not the same thing. Period. Don't even
exactly,
bother
yeah.
comparing it. So if you had to put the same sensor as the Mini 4 Pro, well, guess what? It's going to be a lot more expensive, but it's going to shoot really good stuff,
Yeah, yep, yep.
right? So you got to take it for what it is and who it's targeted for. And I think they've done a good job of that. For a 1.0 from DJI, like everybody knows, like if you've been buying DJI drones for a while, 1.0 in a new sort of segment, they're not great, right? They're missing some stuff. Whether DJI is holding back or just testing the market,
Bingo, yeah.
I don't know that. But I think for a 1.0, it's pretty good. And for who it's targeted to and its price point, absolutely. If you've never had a drone before and you want to start somewhere, and like you say, Bill, gateway, absolutely. You'll have a good time with it. It's hard to destroy, you know, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe you'll get something better down the road, right? And that's great.
Yeah, the strongest feature is the $199 starting price point.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I like it. I have no regrets. And I'm going to use it. I'm going to put it in my pack all the
Well,
time. And I
like,
want those quick shots, and I'm going to take them.
yeah, like Steve
And
and I had talked about, I was talking about, you know, maybe this is a cool drone for my wife because my wife honestly, I can't remember the name of the company, but it was, you know, what they were, Ron. We were looking at them on Banggood and all those sites.
Yeah.
This one was the drone that actually had, it was like the first toy drone that had like a 2-axis gimbal on it. And it was a big drone. It was a good sized drone.
Phantom
we
size
still,
drone.
yeah, we still have it. And she flew it and did a fine job with it. But where it was a toy drone back in the day, it didn't have optical flow, it didn't have positioning or any of that stuff. So, you know, it banged into the side of the
It
house.
wandered a little bit.
Yeah, and it banged into the side of the house, but it was fine. I flew it many times after that. But, you know, she was kind of, you know, iffy about it. And I was mentioning to her the other day, you know, wouldn't you like to fly drones again? And she's like, yeah, I'd really like to, but I'm, you know, kind of skittish since the last one. And I'm like, but we've really updated our drones since then. So, but I thought that this, you know, I thought this would kind of be a cool drone for her to kind of mess around with. But like Steve was also saying, like it's a backpack drone. It's something that if you keep it near you in the vicinity, you can do stuff with. You can do a quick vlog scene with. You know, there's enough with it to do that.
Well,
Yeah.
just think about the scenario, like, you know, you're going out hiking with your family and a few friends and stuff. Is everybody going to wait for you to haul out your drone and get it in the air and take
Nope.
that perfect group shot?
Nope.
No, you're gonna cheese off a few in the group for sure, right? But if you take this out, throw it up, get your quick group shot, you know, everybody goes home happy, and you're not interrupting the flow.
Right.
Right. And you know from the
Or it's not for the guys who got 5 drones in their closet already, and demand perfect. That's you, Bill, and demand that perfect footage. That's not who it's for.
from the
It's
video
not, it's not to replace Angel's Mavic 3.
Well, Angel's going to wait for the
probably
Mavic
not,
4 no matter what. That's what he said.
Like if
And
I'm
from
if
the
I'm gonna
video,
do
Mavic 4 or bust, guys. That's it.
the videos I've seen for not having no sensors, that little thing tracks pretty good.
Amazing.
yeah.
So we talk about this already. Now Steve actually tried it. I like the way in the videos I've seen is the way that it tracks right behind you. Some of the other drones, like say the more sophisticated drones, they try to take shortcuts and they get themselves in a mess. Where the little Neo, if you can make it through a path, the Neo can because it follows almost your direct path.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It,
I took it on some like pretty extreme tests, like a mountain bike on single track, heavily treed. It was actually overcast for most of the time I was flying it, and it did amazing. Like it shocked me how good it kept me in the frame, and it's not perfect by any means. Especially like around corners, switchback corners, really tight corners with elevation gain or loss, it's going to hit something. But a lot of times it would bounce off something or it would recalibrate and just try and get you in the frame again and then take off.
Yeah.
If you watch, do you watch the end of my video, Ron?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you saw it hit the branch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it hit that branch. It recovered, stayed in the air, and you
Yep.
could. I cut the video then, but I stopped, got off my bike, ran back, kind of waved at it. It got me in frame again, and then started following me for the rest of the trail.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
Like,
amazing when you came back and it just picked right up
did
again.
did
yeah,
Lon rename Johnny? So he's
But
not.
yeah.
He's
Johnny Drone Buyer.
yeah, Johnny Drone Buyer. I was like, I saw that and I was like, oh, okay. But
But Johnny says he's not getting a Neo.
oh, I don't want a Neo either. I thought about it for a little bit, and like Lon was saying, get my wife a Mini 4K. I actually have a Mini 3 Pro down here, which already got a hard shell case,
There
so
you
she
go.
could happily use that. But I'm going to start selling some stuff because I want to get some money towards the Air 3S. And I've got a Skydio for sale. Anybody wants to buy it, I'll probably sell it cheap because I want to get rid of it. I don't want to have
100 bucks
anything. No, not that
Canadian.
cheap. Not, no, that's what, like $90 for me.
No, that's like $60, $65.
Oh, okay. I knew it was a lot less.
I got
Uh,
75.
no, I'd have to say at least like 550 because it's got two batteries. One of them Rick Halber bought for me. It's got all the filters. It's got the damn charging hub. It's got all the little bells and whistles. So, and I mean, it was like a $1,500 drone that we had to wait a year and a half for. And so
And
it supposedly tracks really well.
You couldn't
I
pay
think
me to take
too-
anything Skydio right now.
I'm not trying to pay you. I'm trying to sell it.
I think
Sorry.
if I could get in here with the Neo, like I've been interested in FPV for quite a while since the DJI FPV, and then there was the Avata 2, and I'm like, I don't know, it's pricey, but I can fly FPV with this little Neo, and I can test the waters without spending a lot of money, and put this drone through all sorts of abuse that I wouldn't want to be doing with a more expensive drone, and I think that's a good to your gateway point, Bill. It's a gateway for someone who maybe wants to experiment with FPV stuff without dumping a lot of money.
What if you really want to get into FPV? I would suggest a simulator. That's what you. No, seriously, that's where
Software
most.
simulator?
No, an FPV simulator.
But you're talking
liter-
software, or no?
No, you literally. There's like 2 or 3 different ones where it's like liftoff, but you can literally and you can fly with friends, and it's like literally being real world.
This is software.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, software. But you would have like your goggles on or something.
No fun.
And you would literally be. Well, I'm just saying you're talking about beating something up or
You gotta
something
get
that you wouldn't
your-
worry about.
Hey, Bill, let me help you make your point a little bit. You're talking flying FPV to learn manual.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, Steve. Were you talking about learning manual and just flying FPV?
Manual.
Okay.
But
I
yeah,
want
you
to
can
go
do
there. I
that.
want to hit trees, crash into things, fire in flames, heart attacks every 3 seconds. That's what I want.
I mean, the problem. I mean, Brandy could probably tell you the most expensive part to getting the FPV is getting the goggles and the controllers and all that. That's that's where you sink your real money into it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Not necessarily the drone.
That's true. Yeah.
Johnny is strictly a Femi fanboy now. What was this? Johnny says no.
Johnny flies the Phoebe Mini 3.
Johnny says no Neo for me.
No Neo for him.
I've never flown a Femi, never owned a Femi. Still have the Xeno packed away somewhere.
I've
Well,
never owned
the new
anything
Phoebe
other
Mini
than
3 is the best Phoebe ever as
DJI.
far as video quality.
Oh, it says what is it? What level is it compared to DJI?
I think it's got the half-inch sensor in it, but it's stacked and whatever, and it looks. I mean, not nice compared to the high-end DJI drones, but it sure looks. I mean, it's sure Mini 2 level video or better.
I gotta ask you guys a question.
Go ahead.
Who's your go-to YouTube guy for drone reviews? Who do you trust?
I don't know if I have one in particular, but a series of like Billy Kyle, Aldrin, Flypath.
He said trust, Ron, trust.
Air photography, Ken
photography.
Dono. There's like 5 or 6. Randy, what are your big 5 or 6?
Personally, my favorite ones to watch that are the funnest to watch is Potato Jet.
Oh, I forgot. I love Potato Jet.
I agree. Ken gives probably some of the most honest reviews.
Ken
Aldrin's a
Heron?
good one. Air
Dono.
photography is a good one.
Air photography, yeah.
So
to be honest with you, Ron's partner Marcus is one of the most blunt and honest reviewers I've ever seen. He'll tell you straight up.
Marcus has not seeded the drones ahead of time, so his videos aren't out on day one.
Right, but the whole but even I don't think that Marcus would change his format, even if DJI was to start sending him product.
No,
I really don't think he would change as far as the way he deals with it, because he honestly knows what people are going to be investing in. And, just like when you all started out, Ron, remember, you all used to look for the least expensive, best drone for the money you could get.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're saying now, I'm assuming that now the best bottom line drone would be the Femi. Well, what price range is going to be the Mini
the
SE?
Mini 3 generally sells between $299 and $349. You can often get it for $299.
Okay, so price wise, what the Mini 4K?
Right. But I would still recommend the Mini 4K at $299.
Right. So I get what you're saying. But so that's what I'm trying to say. The least expensive drone to kind of start out with would be
Mini 4K.
So that's going to, and at least that's going to give you GPS positioning. Does it have optical flow?
Yes.
Okay, so that's
it has everything the Mini 2 used to have.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But now 4K video or
Right.
I guess the Mini 2.
The Mini 2 did have 4K.
Yeah. Anyhow,
the Mini had 2.7. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was good though. It's pretty good. 2.7. It would scale up to 4K and look pretty good.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm my favorite
Hey, man,
reviewer. Lon, but you don't put enough reviews out.
Who?
That's why he's Holland. Lon, he himself is his favorite reviewer, but he doesn't put any drone reviews out.
But he gives his opinion pretty much on them.
I'm gonna put up a video, and I'm gonna put a whole bunch of footage from it, like every drone I have, and I'm gonna see if someone can guess 100% of the clips.
You're gonna have to offer them some kind of reward, otherwise they won't watch.
We'll figure out a reward. Well, I'll make it private and I'll send it to all you guys.
Okay, fair enough.
There you go.
And see if you can actually identify the footage coming from each of these drones. And I'd be surprised if any one of you could get 100% of it.
No, there's no way.
I wouldn't get it.
There's no way.
So, I put some spark footage in one of my latest videos. 1080p.
Oh, really?
Scaled up to 4K. Looks great. It does.
The Spark was 1080p at tops, right? 1080p 30.
Tops. It was probably 1080p 30 I shot. I think it was 75 megabits per second. It looks great.
Another person that used to put up or still puts up incredible Spark video is Kenny Cardoso.
Right. Oh yeah.
So,
he shot some beautiful Spark video.
Spark was ahead of its time, man.
Yeah, it was, and it's still a tank. It's still a tank, man.
This particular Spark was submersed underwater for at least 10 minutes. I kid you not. I
Wow.
pulled it out of the water. The lights were still blinking. Got out of the water, popped the battery out, shook it off. Bag of rice, blah blah blah. Still flies.
Funny story with the Spark. Back in 2017, my uncle bought a Spark, and he's a very smart guy. He was a computer programmer for almost 45 years. He's got a lot of experience in tech and stuff. Well, he took off with his Spark indoors, and I guess he thought it was like a toy drone. And I don't know if he got nervous or what, but he just grabbed it out of the air, and it it cut him up.
Oh
Had blood on
no.
the walls.
Spark
He
is
never did that again.
just a beast, right?
Yeah, it's a beast.
It'll take a chunk out of you.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
But it was one of the few drones that I would actually, snag out of the air or let palm land,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was my first kind of, like I mean, I think it was my second DJI drone. I think my first DJI was a Phantom 4, and my second DJI drone was a Spark.
Cool. Yeah.
Here's my Spark story. So it turned out that I knew Spark was coming out. That was like one of my first videos because I was talking about when it was going to come out and when they were going to announce it. It was, what was it? It was NAB. It was NAB way back in the day. And I made a video about it and everything. And it turned out that DJI actually had a store here near Seattle, right? But it was in this place. It was like a Dollaria or some kind of weird outlet mall. So I didn't tell my wife what was going on. I said, "Oh, well, this is near the kids, so let's go over there and go shopping after we leave their house and hang out for a little while and everything." And it was getting close to my birthday. And she's like, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I was like, "Well, I have an idea, but And she's like, "Oh no, you can get what you want for your birthday." So here we are, and she's looking in the store and she's looking at clothes and stuff, and I realize I'm in the mall where the DJI store is. so I'm like, "You know what, baby? You go ahead and keep looking at those clothes and stuff. I think I'm going to look around for a minute, see something I might be interested in." She's like, okay. You just call me on your phone when we'll get together and we'll go get something to eat and we'll go home. I was like, okay. So here Bill goes, dun, 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 and I'm straight into the DJI store, right? And I go in and I'm like, okay, I want a blue Spark, and I was like, I want the Flymore kit. Remember, because I think Spark was the first Flymore kit. What? No, or was it?
So, yes.
Yep, I think Spark was the first Flymore kit. Okay, so I got the Flymore kit, right? And before I even go back to see my wife, I go out to the car and stash the drone. Right? It's in the car, right? So I come back, and she's like, okay. She goes, "Where did you go?" I was like, "Oh, I went here and I went here, and then and then we walked back." She goes, "Oh, look at that, baby! There's a DJI store, just like you're talking about." I was like, "Yeah. We don't need to go there." She's like, "Oh, why?" She goes, "Why?" She goes, "Come on now, let's go in and look around. I know how bad you want to go look around." I was like, okay. And so we walk in, right? And here comes the same lady right up to me that sold it to me before. And it just so happened that she was Asian, right? "Oh, hello, Mr. Thomas. How are you? You like a drone? You want to come back from already?" My wife looks over at me and goes, "What drone?"
And the begging for forgiveness begins.
No, she was only mad for about 10 minutes. And then we got to the car. And she's like, okay, cool. She goes, "But that's your birthday present." I was like, "Yes."
Angel, what was your first drone?
I got the I guess it was the my uncle got us a Holy Stone,
Okay.
Okay.
and
Wow.
and it was great, but it was clearly, this is 2018, 19,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it may have went about 30, 40 feet away.
What about your
And
first
then
DJI
it was like,
drone?
okay. Oh, the first DJI drone was the Mavic Air 2.
Okay, that was my first
Okay.
one as well.
Nice.
I'm really
and
worried.
and
that
it
they-
was watching all those people on YouTube share all these things, and I was like, well, that seems pretty fascinating. And yeah.
It was a
We
good
mentioned
drone.
about Spark being a first on something, but I think you mentioned in your video, Steve, that the Spark was the first drone to have to charge all three batteries at the same time and not one at a time like the later drones did.
Yeah, as far as I know, I don't know. Because I mean that was my first drone. Yeah, I do like that. I'm happy they did it. Right? It's
Yeah. And I forgot that the Spark did that too, but I did recall that once you mentioned. Of course, the Spark you could fly it without any controller too. You could fly it just on hand gestures, right?
yeah.
Randy's over here flipping lawn on the
I think
nose.
I
Like,
tried that exactly one time and
dink.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
a lot of people liked it. I think people had made some comments about it, and they liked the hand gestures and stuff, but just wasn't for me.
right.
Well, see, that's something else that we were talking about. To address the drone ban, I hope to God the Senate doesn't pass it. I hope the president, whoever that may be, doesn't sign it. I really pray that they don't.
If Lloyd's the president, he won't sign it.
No, Lord's already said he wouldn't sign it.
Yeah.
But and then getting on to I can't wait for the Air 3S. I think it's going to be a phenomenal drone, and I mean I'm excited about it coming. You know,
Bill, now that we got the FCC approval, how much longer do you think we're going to have to wait before we see a release date for it?
well, some of the guys I know that I think Jasper predicted November. I think it's going to
Yes.
come faster. I
Me
think
too.
we'll see it in October. I think we'll see it
Yep.
in early to mid October. I really do.
So right after the Neo comes to the U.S., the Air 3S will follow quickly.
I think
Well,
mid
I
to late
think that
October.
I think that to be honest with you, because we saw Bill the drone reviewer just come right out and say, "I've already canceled my order." We've seen people here tonight in the chat more so than we've seen with any other drone. People saying no, 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 no. They screwed up making the U.S. wait. People would have bought a bunch of them and then realized they screwed up afterwards. But where they made everybody wait so long and see all these videos, they're all going So now DJI's got to come back out and grab the attention again and get people here in the U.S. excited. So if they can start rolling in on the 8th, you really think that people are going to go out and start buying Neo when we've already seen the FCC filing for the Air 3S? I'm liquidating stuff so that I
The
can buy
the,
into it.
the Neo and the Air 3S customer are not the same person.
Well, I mean, I see what you mean as far as marking, Steve, but the drone heads that buy every drone are the same person.
Well, I mean, if you buy every drone that comes out,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, yeah,
great,
yeah.
right? But if you're buying it for a specific reason, why would you buy a Neo if you
Right,
really want an Air 3S?
right,
They're,
right.
Exactly,
that's,
yeah.
I mean, I
that's not
hear.
even
Yeah,
in the
the other
same
guys can
realm.
talk about this. I hear a lot in these shows. A lot of people's intention about buying the Neo is that they want to learn to fly FPV manual on an inexpensive drone, and they think that 199 if I crash it or whatever, trying to learn FPV, it won't really matter. So I think that's a whole other market that I think that maybe they didn't anticipate that you're going to
Yeah.
have a lot of people wanting to use it as a learner
Yeah,
drone for
there's a good comment
FPV.
here from Lon. I think that's apt, right? People
Yeah,
will want
that's
to
what
test
that's how
buy and
it's
pick
going
them
to
up.
work.
Yeah,
Absolutely, right? That's the market.
But
yeah.
obvious, like you said, it's going to be something that somebody's just going to be walking by it in the store, and then they'll stop and go, "Well, ain't that cute?" And
You
then
mean
look,
like a holiday type shopper, Bill?
Like
not necessarily. Go ahead.
I feel like when the Spark came on the scene, like somebody else commented too, like the Mavic. I don't know which Mavic came out before the Spark, but I think when the Spark came on the scene, it was DJI's like attempt. They wanted to broaden the market, right? They wanted to get a drone in the hands of more people, right? And I think the Spark kind of accomplished that, right? Lower price point, easier to fly. Had the gimmicky hand gesture thing, right? Same with the Mini. When the Mini came on the scene, it's kind of the same thing. They want to expand that market, sub 250, gets under some of the regulations, blah blah blah, right? I think Neo is another sort of move in that direction,
You're on
right?
TV.
Get more people flying drones.
You left my
Yeah.
closet open.
Hi, Mrs. Bill.
Lon's making the point that, and I saw that today too,
My
that
wife's
U.S.
adjusting my
pre-sales for
set.
Neo are filled already. So if you didn't get your Neo pre-order in, they're already filled.
Oh, how much we figured? What did we say? $12.99 $99 for the
Or the
Flymore
base
kit
fly more kit with the standard
with the
controller.
standard controller.
And
So
probably if
it's
you get the RC2 with the screen, you're probably up to about $1,500 or a little better.
yeah, something like that, about $14.99 or $15.49, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So if
then
you
we
already
said,
order, if you
What's
already own the RC2, you can order that base fly more kit and just have an extra controller laying around.
and then the what did we say? 1049 was what the
I think the current Air 3 is $10.99. So I don't know if it'll be a price bump from that.
well the Air 3 will get a reduction, a pretty nice one. And then
20%.
yeah, so then we'll know that it's imminent, that it's within.
Yeah.
Which and I'll be honest with you, I expect an Air 3 sale any day now.
Any day now. How about batteries, Bill? Do you think the batteries will be compatible?
Yeah, I don't see that. They don't look any different to me. That
There's
as
a
they
rumor
do.
that the new batteries have a little more juice in them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the old batteries won't be compatible at a lower voltage.
Possibly, but
Lon
that
has a good point there. He
what
said
is
the RC3. What upgrade would the RC3 have over the RC2 if they both are OcuSync 4?
I had
Maybe,
heard that the RC3 had less battery life
It does have a
than
smaller
the
battery.
RC2.
The one with the screen?
No, we're talking the ones without the screen now.
Yeah, the RC the N what is it RCNC or
Yeah, RCN3.
yeah,
Well, he's
RCN3
hinting
as
at a RC3 with the screen.
So you think there'll be a new controller with the screen, Randy? They'll upgrade
That's
to
what
the
Ron
3?
put in, but I was wondering if it is, what would be the difference than the RC2 because they're both 04.
oh my god, the last
maybe
one was
more-
$1,500. We could only use it with like 2 things.
Not a Pro. The
Not a
RC2.
Pro. We're talking
comes
about the
with-
regular
Oh, okay.
DJRC2.
Hey,
Yeah, Randy. Outside of Lon.
I'm not going to update.
Yeah.
I'm sure
We're
they're
getting
gonna-
ready to update tomorrow, Lon.
I'm not.
The buy button's out in the desk.
I'm not. I've got a 4. I'll stick with my 4.
what's the killer feature of the Air 3S? I don't follow the rumors too much.
The 1-inch sensor.
We're hoping for larger camera sensors.
1 inch?
1 inch, yeah.
1 inch, at least on the main wide angle.
And variable
Remember,
aperture.
I called that on your show, Bill.
You called it
Called what?
One
the
inch
bigger
sensor.
1 inch.
I told you they'd go back to it.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that's what we would do. Yeah, yeah.
But the real killer would be what Randy just said: the variable aperture in the Air series.
I hadn't heard that one. I haven't heard that one anywhere.
Well,
If it doesn't
I
have
haven't
a
heard either. But I mean, that would be the icing on top of the cake.
Okay, Ron, Lon's saying it right here. And he
See,
would,
if it
he
doesn't-
would,
There you
he
go.
would,
Lon
he
called
would
it.
know better than anybody because
Lon
it.
called the Neo right. So
well,
if it
because
doesn't have a variable aperture, I will not buy it because the
There you
next
go.
drone that I
he
buy
knows
will
people
have a
that
variable.
know. So there, I mean, there's no restrictions on him. So you can tend to believe what he's feeding you because he's not under any NDA or
NDA?
anything like that. But he's knows people that are under NDA. So he can drop hints and say stuff without exposing anybody. Although we all have a pretty good idea who those people are. We just don't say them. But yeah, we're grateful for that. It helps a lot because we know stuff that a lot of people that just walk into Best Buy don't know, and that's why we do stuff like this. It's just like I'm going to say it again. I hope I'm completely wrong, and please continue to send emails and letters and phone calls to your congressperson telling them
flood them, right? Flood them.
do not ban DJI drones. I am not some apocalyptic bring down the entire hobby kind of person.
Yeah. I don't want to be right.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be right. I'm just simply saying they keep embedding this bill now. It's becoming. Remember, it used to be it was 6 months, 8 months, 10 months between us hearing about it, but now it's like every other month we're getting another. They're going to ban it. They're going to ban it. They're going to ban it. So I'm just saying, be prepared for it. That way, it won't sting quite as bad. But they're giving us a phenomenal drone. So if I am right, and this is the last drone that they allow imported into the U.S., it's a phenomenal drone, and it could last for 6 to 10 years. And like Ron said, even the old drones, we all pointed out, even the old drones. Ken Dono himself points out, fly what you got. because they're still phenomenal drones, all the way back to the Phantom 4 Pro.
Yes. Yes.
So you can do all of this. It's you can do all kinds. Well, you're going down a rabbit hole here. We would start a whole new show.
Uh-oh, yeah. That's a future episode.
We could start talking
Yeah.
triangles and
No, it's simple. It's the amount of light, big or small.
Well, I was thinking more about what is it? The exposure triangle? Is that what it's called? Is that
It's one of them, right? But it's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
it's how much light.
Shutter ISO and aperture.
Yep.
Yeah, basically aperture is basically the lens opening, how much light it allows in to hit the sensor, right?
Right.
So variable means you can, make it big or you can make it small within its range.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now the drone decides the aperture. But
Do you
in
see
this
what
one,
he's
we will
saying
decide
here?
the aperture, not the drone.
And it also has a relationship with depth of field. So what's in focus?
Right.
So the smaller F number, less depth of field. Larger F number, more depth of field. So more things will be in focus as you move back in your image, right?
The reason I want a variable is so if I'm doing a hyperlapse and I want to go do video, I don't have to land and take off the ND filter. Or if I'm doing long exposures, I don't have to land and take off the ND filter. I can do it all while I'm in the air.
No, we understand why you want variable because that's why we all love the Phantom 4 Pro so much.
Well, but Steve brings up a great point about depth of field. The only problem
and mechanical shutter.
The only problem is that if you don't understand that depth of field and you put it into manual aperture, you could actually get things not in focus or whatever.
Well, you're not. Yeah, with the drones though,
it.
they're mostly wide. They're mostly wide angle lenses, so you really won't notice much of that depth of field change, and you'd have to be pretty close. So on a telephoto, you'd see it more.
Yeah.
But you won't see it as much on a wide angle.
Yeah, he brings up a good point, Bill. Okay, will both lenses have this variable aperture, only the main 1 inch? Because if you do put the variable in the 3x tele, that essentially is a zoom, and you will really have to worry about the the depth of field.
Especially if you get in tight, zoom in tight, you can get some good depth of field.
Yeah,
that would be unprecedented if they put two variable apertures on one drone.
Yeah.
Well,
You know what I'd really love DJI to change is I'd like to see ISO move in 1/3 stops.
Right.
Like shutter speed, you can move it in 1/3 stops. If you have a variable aperture,
like a real camera, like a real camera has. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like these full stops when you're trying to, especially with a drone like any of the drones I own, they don't have variable aperture. So you've got ISO and you got shutter speed. But shutter speed moves in 1/3 stops. ISO moves in full stops. So you don't have that granularity to really dial in your exposure.
Right.
And I don't know why they do it, because if you go into auto mode on these drones, they will go in 1/10 of a stop on ISO.
Yeah.
But they won't when you're adjusting it manually. It's kind of a quirky, kooky thing that's bugged me since my Spark.
Right, especially when on real cameras, those 1/3 ISOs go back forever. They've been doing that forever.
Yeah.
Ancient cameras did that. So, So anyway, we don't know quite all the Air 3 specs, but I mean, what we have been leaked, if it's true, has been interesting. And again, a lot of people, the theory is DJI kind of knows this may be the last U.S. drones, so they're going to kind of pull out all the stops, and this will be, the best air drone we've ever seen.
Well, let's hope they think that on every release coming up. That would be cool.
And I know I can't explain it well. Marcus does a little bit better. The Air 3S will have that kind of extra sensor on the front, kind of between the obstacle avoidance sensors, kind of like a LiDAR sensors. So the drone will even be able to detect more things with that LiDAR sensor in the front, in addition to the traditional obstacle avoidance sensors.
It's very interesting to find out exactly what that's for. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
So what? I'm just going to throw another question out to you guys. Like, what would be the sort of one thing you really would want in a drone that you're not getting? Like, camera and stuff. Everybody wants better camera. They want resolution, blah blah blah, better picture quality. Like, what is one thing that you're not getting, not seeing in your
Mechanical
drones?
zoom.
What's that?
Mechanical optical zoom.
Optical zoom?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And Randy already said the adjustable aperture on a non Mavic drone or whatever would
Right.
really be nice. I don't think we're going to get that optical zoom, but that would be what we all want rather than this two camera setup. But besides the camera, Steve, that is hard to say. The battery life has already got to where
Yeah.
I mean, we could fly forever.
Yeah.
The distance and the signal strength even around objects has gotten so good. It's hard to see anything but an incremental improvement in the OcuSync and the range of signal. It's hard to see anything but incremental improvement of batteries. I mean, it already has so many quick shots and
The sensors, everything, Yeah.
yeah,
Something minor that I would really like to see on a consumer drone. Being somebody that flies a lot at night, I would like to see a built-in strobe, a built-in anti-collision light.
okay,
Something you
that's
can just
something.
flip
Yeah,
on and off.
yeah. But
Mavic 3 you can see from far away. The rest of them are tiny. The little
But
red
no, I
and green
mean,
lights on the drone.
I could fly my current Air 3 for the next 5 years. It's such a good drone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
You keep getting care refresh on it. You
Yeah,
good to
yeah.
go.
Tell me a 5-year care refresher plan or
What
whatever.
what about autonomy? You guys interested in any of that?
The drone flying on its own.
Yeah, like you just kind of
Not so much.
push a button.
I had this. I had the what I mean, the drone build talked about the Scudio that was autonomous, and the problem with when it flies on its own, it doesn't fly very cinematic. Flies very robotically or whatever. Now I know advancements. If you could get an autonomous drone that would actually fly like a person,
I agree.
maybe I'd be somewhat interested, but I don't know how close we are to something like that happening. I mean, I really don't want to, just stand there and tell the drone, go up, orbit this tower five
No.
times and come back and do this. I
Yeah,
mean, just
for
like
sure.
being a photographer, Steve. I don't want to pick the camera up and just tell it, camera, get me, couple wide shots over here at aperture 2.8, then get me a couple verticals at 1.8. I just don't want the AI to take the
Yeah,
pictures for me. Just like I don't want to fly the drone and I'm not and take the pictures for me. I kind of want to control that. The only thing I want AI or time to do is like when it's time to come home or something like that or whatever. Yeah, if it wants to bring the drone back on its own or whatever when I'm done flying, I mean that's something which it already kind of does anyways.
I
yeah,
agree. And like you were saying, if it looked more natural, I'd be more inclined to use it. Like I would use it a lot more if it looked more fluid and natural.
Randy, I'll give cite you example waypoints. DJI's added waypoints to the drones recently, and I mean I think the Mavic 2 Pro had it, and I've played with the Litchi waypoints with third party apps. But the problem with waypoints until just recently is the waypoints always flew very robotically. Like you could
mhm,
look at something and say, "Oh, that guy's just a waypoint miss," or whatever, because it flew very robotically. But now since the Mavic 3 came out, the waypoints look much more natural, like a human's flying it rather than like a robot's flying it. So
Yeah,
that
I
has
agree.
greatly improved in the past couple of years.
Well, I certainly would like the option for some, cinematic autonomous flight, because
That
if
would be
I
cool.
if I want to be in the picture, well, I'm holding a remote and I can't do a
That's a
lot of
great point.
things and,
Yeah.
and get that kind of cinematic shot. So, um, I like having a cameraman that can do some work for me. But I also like your point
I'll
too.
say you, Steve.
The Skydio. I told you, man. Well, actually, Randy outbid me there. He bid 75.
No, I think Lon said something else. I can't remember what he said. He said 75.
I think Lon was up to 100.
Oh, okay.
I revoked my bid.
You
He rescinds his bid.
you were saying, Steve, about that you would like to get more cinematic shots of you on its
Well,
own.
I would love to have that option. Like, so if I'm just out by myself, I can tell the drone to capture something cinematic while I'm biking or walking or hiking along. But I also agree, like I also want to have full control when I want to use my creativity, my skill to capture what I want. I don't want to hand everything off to a computer, but I would, I do like that option. And as rudimentary as it is on the Neo, I appreciate that option, that with minimal fuss I can get it to do some of those kind of cool shots.
Right.
I like to see some of that capability and ease of use creeping into more of the expensive, higher quality drones.
Right. Do you think AI will actually, make that
I
possible for us in the near future?
I hate the AI term,
Right.
but yeah, whatever smarts they put in
Well,
there.
maybe they could, maybe for DJI, like Apple calls it Apple Intelligence, maybe
Yeah.
DJI can call their AI DJI Intelligence. Yeah.
Fellas, I'm going to have to bid you adieu and call
Oh,
it a
it is
night.
getting late, Randy. You
Well,
getting
it's
up
it's.
early
I got to do
tomorrow?
the same thing too. I have a family engagement I need to take off to as well.
I noticed you
Okay.
changed your wardrobe.
Yep. I'm got ready to leave the house because I have to go do something. But yeah, I wasn't trying to end everything, but we've been going on a
Yeah,
good clip and
we're
everything.
almost at the hour and a half mark, so we've got covered a lot of
Well, and
ground.
it was very good interactive talk tonight, and we got to I'm glad we got Steve really because
We
I
got
felt
somebody that
like
actually has a Neo on the show.
well not so much that, but a lot of times when Steve's on the show, there's a lot of other talking, and I felt like that Steve really got to really to be part of the show tonight. He really put a lot into the show tonight because I quit talking as much and I let other people speak. Maybe that was part of it. But I wanted to say thank you, Steve, for coming in and joining us. And
Yeah, thank you,
we're
Steve.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Steve.
There
oh,
it
Nice
is.
to meet
There
there
it
it
you.
is.
is. Wait, wait.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Look at it.
With the RC2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right with the controller. Yeah, the screen. Nice. Yeah,
Woo!
hover, guys.
Show off.
Yeah, really. Order it today. Order yours today.
Maybe it'll fly away to the U.S. so we can grab one.
Yeah, swing up to the border. I'll sneak
He'll
some
hand
over
it
for you.
across.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
hand,
yeah,
it, we'll,
yeah.
hand money through the fence, and he'll hand us the drone back through.
Well, we have open borders, so you could just push it across or something.
Or fly it across, and then just
Fly it
toss the
across.
controller. And then
Yeah,
toss the
yeah.
controller. All right, you're good now. What is that? You're gonna use the Venmo, whatever it is. Anyway,
Yeah,
All right, I'm
Venmo.
going to head out. I'll see you guys next week.
but I wanted to say
Good night,
thank
Be
you.
good, Randy.
See you, Randy. I want to say
good,
thank
Randy.
you for everybody coming in this week and joining us. I want to tell you also ahead of time, Nemo will be with us. Gary will be back with us next week. We're going to do an FPV week. He wants to talk about like
Oh, wow.
whoops. We're going to call it a Whoop Wars show next week. He said call it Whoop Wars, and there's been a boatload of Whoop Wars, but we'll try to put a panache on it and
If he
make it
gets
drone
off the
therapy
boat,
Whoop
by,
Wars.
if he gets off the boat by next Wednesday.
If he gets off the boat, but yeah, off his yacht by next Wednesday. That's
Yeah.
okay. He'll still use the satellite internet to connect with us. But thank you very much, Steve. Thank you to everybody that joined
thank
us. And
you.
remember, be
Good night,
here
Angel.
next week for more craziness and squirrel madness. Love you all.